know what this is? Well, yes, of course it's a book, but not just any book. This is an Agatha Christie murder mystery. Just holding it in my hands, smelling the yellowing pages, it brings back so many memories. Fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests and dignitaries, I spent the bulk of my childhood reading, mostly mysteries. I loved the Nancy Drews and the Hardy Boys, but my favorite by far were the Agatha Christies. This book is a Hercule Poirot. He was her famous Belgian detective with the impressive mustaches and the egg-shaped head. And her other famous mystery solver was a kindly old spinster named Miss Marple, who lived in the English countryside, but everywhere she went, there was a murder. I would have chosen to live far away from that lady. Oh, how I loved my books. And I have every Christie that I could lay my hands on a shelf in my living room. Why is that? Because Christie brought those characters to life for me. I don't only love my books, I love Hercule Poirot. I love Miss Marple. I wanted to know what would happen to them next. Because that's what a really well-written novel will do to you. It'll pull you in and tie you up in the plot to such an extent that you feel those people are real. You can't wait to see what's going to happen next in the book. When I ran out of Agatha Christie books to read, I was really, really sad. But I moved on. As a teenager, I discovered Stephen King. How many Stephen King fans do we have in the audience? If you've never heard of Stephen King, I don't know where you live, but he's a horror author, and he wrote some of the scariest books I've ever read. I would lie in my bed at night with my back pressed up against the wall and the blanket over my ear, reading Stephen King, wanting to put the book down, but completely unable to. I didn't want anyone to sneak up on me. I was in my little cocoon. And sometimes I was so scared that I wouldn't even go to the bathroom. Why? I was reading The Shining. There's a scene in The Shining about a dead lady in the bathtub. It scared me so badly, and I was sure that if I went into the bathroom, there would be a dead lady in my bathtub. Oh, how I loved my book. It was one of the best books I ever read, The Shining. So, what happened? They made a movie out of it. And I was excited. I couldn't wait to go see it. I ran to that movie theater to see that movie. And what do you think happened? Oh, big mistake. They ruined my movie. They ruined my book with that movie. They ruined it. It was horrible. They took my beloved characters and the plot and the scariness and they made it into some joke. I couldn't believe it and I was so disappointed. It was my first brush with Hollywood's destruction of novels. So as my boys grew up and their favorite books were made into movies, I didn't know if I should let them go see those movies because I didn't want them to suffer the way I had suffered. But it couldn't be avoided. My middle son fell in love with the Percy Jackson books. Percy Jackson is a modern-day boy descended from the mythological Greek gods. He was a middle schooler, just like my son was a middle schooler. And every time a new Percy Jackson book came out, we had to go to Barnes & Noble and buy that book. He loved it, and we went to see the movie. And what do you think happened during that movie? That's right. Mom, what's going on? Mom, that's not what happened. They're ruining my book. They're ruining my book. I didn't know what to tell him. This is the reality of life. Movies ruin books. Why is that? Why can't the movie capture the magic of the book? I think one really big reason is that books have real character development in them. You spend hours reading about these people. You get to know them. You feel their emotions as you read about their thoughts. When I read a novel where the heroine is falling in love, I feel a smile on my face. When she sees her beloved and rushes across the room, my heart skips a beat with hers. And if he breaks her heart, don't you think I cry? I cry a lot when I read. Because books make you care. But movies seem to just skip the whole character development and go straight to the action. Whether someone's jumping off a building, or people are having sex, or something is blowing up, It's all about a cheap thrill. You don't care about these people. I can't remember the last movie I went to where I thought about the characters afterwards and wondered what they were doing next. But every novel I read pretty much that I fell in love with, I thought about those characters well after I had finished the book. So you're wondering, well, what does it matter? Book versus movie, who cares? Well, I care because I think it teaches us something about ourselves as human beings. I think our preference for books teaches us that we want to care. We want more. We want substance. We don't want our lives to be some shallow movie with underdeveloped characters and surface relationships. We are not the thrill-seeking lot that Hollywood is pandering to. We want more out of our lives, out of our relationships. So I challenge you today to go about your lives and get to know the people in your books and read a few chapters out of their book of life. It will make your life so much more meaningful because you know what? Novels really are just make-believe. But your family and friends, they are real. So unlike me lamenting that I can never again read a new chapter in a Hercule Poirot book, you can look forward to reading a new chapter in the lives of your family and friends every single day. Contest Master.